Story 1: The Arizona Airman. I was on a solo trip, renting a small Airbnb tucked away in the Arizona desert. The place looked peaceful, the kind of quiet you don't normally find in city life. But from the moment I arrived, something felt off. On the second night, while I was unpacking in the basement, I noticed a faint light flickering just outside a small dusty window. When I looked closer, I saw figures standing way out in the desert motionless, watching the house. I thought maybe it was a hiker passing by, so I tried to ignore it. But every night after that, the figure returned, always in the same spot, never moving. Once, I confronted him by stepping outside. He disappeared without a trace. The Airbnb owner said no one else was around, but I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was keeping a close eye on me. I left the next morning, too spooked to stay one more night. Story 2: The New House in Georgia. We just bought an old house in rural Georgia, scared but excited to start fresh. Our first night in the basement was quiet until I heard footsteps above me. There was no one else in the house. Then scratching sounds started coming from inside the basement walls, like desperate claws trying to get out. I kept asking my husband to check it out, but he said it was probably just old pipes or mice. One night, I woke up to see a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the basement, staring right at me. His eyes seemed hollow, and his presence made the room freeze cold. I screamed and ran upstairs, locking the basement door forever. We moved out after a month, but sometimes I still hear scratching in my dreams. Story 3: The Hospital Basement. I worked night shifts in a hospital, often alone in the basement storage area. One evening, I heard whispers through the walls, voices saying things I couldn't understand. I tried to ignore them until I found old patient files in a locked cabinet, marked with dates from decades ago. Some had notes about mysterious disappearances. Suddenly, the lights flickered violently, and I felt cold breath on my neck. When I turned around, nothing was there, but a stain on the wall looked like a handprint smudged in blood. I reported it to security, but they brushed it off as my imagination. I quit shortly after, convinced the basement held memories best left undisturbed. Story 4: The Church's Forgotten Basement. The church basement was used for youth meetings, but after hours, locals said it felt haunted. One night, I stayed late to clean and found old photographs of the church's founders. I noticed a man who wasn't listed anywhere, a shadowy figure standing behind the group, face blurred and twisted. Suddenly, a cold wind blew through the room despite the windows being closed. A voice whispered my name, and when I turned, a door slammed shut on its own. I ran out, but the feeling that someone was locked inside the basement with me stayed with me for weeks. Story 5: The Unseen Neighbor in Michigan. I lived in a suburban house in Michigan, and every evening I would hear footsteps from the basement below. I never had anyone living with me. One night, I heard low humming and turned the basement light on, but the stairs were empty. The next evening, I found a crudely drawn symbol scratched into the basement wall. It wasn't there before. I called the police, who discovered the property had been broken into multiple times, and someone had been living undetected beneath my house for weeks. I moved out immediately after. Story 6: The Storage Basement in New York. Working late in a New York office building, I had to retrieve files from the basement storage. The place was dim and smelled like damp concrete. As I walked down the steps, I saw shadows flickering just beyond the light. Suddenly, I caught sight of a man sitting cross-legged in the corner, his face hidden in darkness. When I called out, he vanished. Shaking, I found old graffiti written in what looked like red paint, "We never left." I decided to quit that job before encountering him again. Story 7: The Woods Beneath the Pennsylvania House. We just inherited a cabin in Pennsylvania and planned to renovate the basement for storage. One night, as I turned on the basement light, I saw dirt footprints leading from the window to a cabinet. No one had been there since the previous owner died years ago. When I tried to clean the prints, they reappeared in the same pattern the next day. A whisper came from the woods surrounding the house saying, "Not yours." The hair on my arm stood up, and I locked the door tightly, refusing to go down there after dark. Story 8: The Locked Door in the Texas House. I always wondered what was behind the locked door in my Texas house's basement. The previous owner left no keys. One night, I heard pounding on that door, slow but persistent. I called out, but got no answer. Then eerie laughter echoed from beneath it, chilling my blood. The following morning, the door was open just a crack, but no one was inside. I packed my bags that day and never looked back, realizing some doors are locked for a very good reason.